everyone, it's the Sagan from Scientists Say, and welcome to part 2 of the Shivers playthrough for Shocktober 2016. I know we've been kind of delayed in getting these videos out, but I'm going to make up for that. I'm trying to put out one of these a day, so I'm recording this now so I can get it edited at work. I'll be up Wednesday morning. Part 1 is up. If you haven't watched it, I'm too lazy to do annotations at the moment. Go find it. It's on our channel. There'll probably be a link in the description, though, as usual. So, yeah, that being said, let's pick up where we left off. I actually should have launched the game. I meant to do that. Oh well. I'm going to get my earbuds, because that will make the sound a little more even. Let me just load the game first.
Select a name from the museum guest book.
I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. Apologize for not being prepared there, but go away, taskbar, you're ruining the atmosphere. But also decided to get myself a tasty beverage, well, water, and a tasty snack, mint truffle. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we're right back where we left off. I apologize for you having to watch me eat, but it was too good to pass up. Okay, so we now find ourselves in the professor's office, for it's pretty much what you call it. Let's browse around a little bit. So, this being an older game, like Myst and whatnot, there's a lot of reading to provide the backstory and the context. So, that being the case, I'm not going to read all of this to you guys so I don't bore you. What I will do is I will zoom in on things that have reading, such as this, and then I'm going to summarize it for you, and if you want to pause the video and read it to yourself to get the real context of the game, go right ahead. So, basically this is a news clipping saying that the professor is planning on funding a search for where he thinks Atlantis might have ended up, which he thinks would be somewhere around here, which is pretty much what we call the Bermuda Triangle. You got Florida, Cuba, and not really sure what that's supposed to be. There's a couple items here that don't exactly match up. But yeah, he thought he was going to find Atlantis. As you can tell, the guy was a bit of a kook. Alright, so let's go take a look at his desk here. So, okay, there's a scrapbook here. And again, I'm just kind of going to sift through this. So this is the article saying that in the... well, getting ahead of myself. The professor was part of the Royal Society in England, but then he presented what he thought to be the bones of a griffin, which turned out to be just the bones of 3 animals, you know, an eagle, a lion, and I forget what else, but all conveniently buried in the same pit. So he was pretty much laughed out of the Royal Society because of that, but resigned to, you know, maintain his dignity and respect of his family. This is an article covering the fact that, or the groundbreaking ceremony for the museum itself. This is talking about how it's been constantly delayed. It was supposed to open in 1964. This article was done in 1970. It still hadn't opened. As we've seen, the professor disappeared in 1980-ish, and we're in 1995, and the place is still never opened. This is a clipping about his son, Jeffrey, or Joffrey, however you want to pronounce that. Now this is an important little bit of information, talking about how the professor has acquired a set of pots or vessels from a eccentric collector that mysteriously died. That'll be more important later. Go ahead and read that if you don't read any of this other stuff. Okay, that's all there is in the scrapbook. We got a letter in a drawer here. This is from his wife, and it's basically thanking him for resigning from the Royal Society rather than being dismissed, which would have caused embarrassment. And she's basically advising him to cease all contact with their son because he's gained the reputation of a kook, and she wants to make sure that their son, makes all the proper social connections, which could be hampered by his kook of a father. Obviously not a wedding out of love, but more probably out of, money and social connections. Okay, well, there's the tape recorder here. This is important.
30th of September 1980. Returning from Africa, I discovered something profoundly disturbing. Someone has been here. Furniture has been tipped over, and the book Egyptian Hieroglyphics Explained, not in its place in the library, but face down here on the office floor. And oddly, one of the pages is torn out. And I feel the presence of... I'm not sure. I must investigate the second floor. The puzzles. When I created them, I never stopped to think they would be an obstacle in the event of some terrible occurrence. The Ixupi. Someone has released them from their vessels. Never has anything been so evil. A name written in the lift. Merrick. Who is he? One of the missing youngsters? Here in my museum? If so, are they both here? Can they still be alive? Evil entities attacking from everywhere, robbing me of my life essence. I can't seem to find the right vessel for each Ixupi. Without it, they can't be captured. Without it, I am doomed. Get back! Get back! Get out of my museum! Oh, I wish I never brought you here.
So, as you can see, we now have a hint of what happened to the professor and why he was holding that book when he died. So yes, the vessels that he bought contained these evil spirits called Ixupi. There'll be more information on them later. In fact, pretty soon, because once I do the first kind of thing here, and I'll probably cut that entry, then we'll move on to the library, which contains a lot more information for the game. But he basically, these vessels that he bought, mentioned here, contained these evil spirits. Somebody released them, and he was attacked by them. And guess what? They're still running around the museum, and we were already attacked by one already, which is why we're missing part of our life. So, I forgot something in one of the drawers in the desk drawer. Can't open that drawer because the chair's in the way. It doesn't matter. Okay, as you can see, I picked up an item. It looks to be a lid in the shape of a bull's head. So, this is the lid to one of these vessels. What are those good for? Well, we'll get there. Let's continue on. As you can see, it sounds like something's breathing nearby. Let's take a look here. Okay, I'm gonna get the hell out of here because he didn't move. So, okay, so we were just attacked by another one of these spirits hiding in the fireplace. So the objective of the game is to find all these spirits. There's 10 of them running around the museum, and we need to capture them before we're killed by them, basically. I'm actually really good at avoiding them, but I won't necessarily do that for demonstration purposes, so you guys can get a good feel of the game. Plus, we will gain any life we're missing back once we capture them. So, as I mentioned, the game has, in the first part, this game has some randomization to it. So, we have to find the pots and the vessels. They're all split up, scattered all around the museum. They are completely randomized with one exception. Three exceptions. The lid I just found, and the vessel that goes with it, are always in the same location. And the very last thing that you need to find is always in the same location as well. Everything else, completely randomized. The locations are usually all the same, but they vary where they could be. There's multiple locations for each thing. So, as you can see, we're in sort of a fantastic beast. In fact, I think there's a voiceover for this room here. Oh, yep, there it was. Crap.
From a 60-foot giant squid that can pull a small fishing boat into the depths of the sea, to the 2-inch poison dart frog that carries enough poison to kill 1,500 people.
Isn't that
Nothing
crazy?
is stranger than the animal kingdom. Is it any wonder that the ancients worshipped and feared these strange beasts? Alright. So, to show you how things kind of work here, I'm going to go ahead and capture the first Exupi, because that actually is what constitutes kind of the tutorial for this game. There's a walkthrough in the manual, which is why this part is always the same, so that walkthrough is accurate. So the walkthrough talks about going into this room, which I forget what this room is called. Let's listen to the voiceover. I think this is the plant, the amazing plant room or something like that. You have stepped into the world of amazing plants. For centuries, plants have been used to beautify man's surroundings, for food, shelter, and to heal the sick. And like Socrates, who was executed by drinking poison hemlock, man has discovered plants have a lethal side too.
So yeah, the walkthrough talks about wandering into this room and kind of exploring around, and then noticing that, hey, there's all these kind of pot-looking things on the wall. One of them I can actually pick up, and it matches the talisman that we had, so now we have a full, we have a full vessel in our hands. You can see it fits perfectly. And we're now ready to capture our first Exupi. So since the little bastard didn't move out of the fireplace, let's go get him. Once I've done this part, I'll probably end this entry, depending on how long we've been going. Oh, okay. Now notice how the music just changed. You hear that? Boom, 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 boom. So you hear that anytime an Exupi is nearby. And that wasn't there before, meaning that probably the tar Exupi is sitting in that pool over there. going to avoid him. Oh, and there's another one in this part of the room too, because the music just reset. I'm getting the hell out of this room. That's for sure. Okay, once I've done this first part, and like I said, probably ended this entry, starting in the next entry, I'm just going to properly start exploring the museum room by room, so you guys can really enjoy the game. I hope I'm not rushing too much. Damn, okay, so, as you can hear, the music didn't change in here, which means that, unfortunately for us, he's not there right now. So there's a few locations where he can show up, so we're just going to have to move on. Damn. I'm gonna go in the other room here. We'll just, we'll start exploring. We'll start with this room over here. Let me just check my recording real quick. Yeah, we're only at 18 minutes. Try to keep these about 20, 25 minutes. If I could have caught the Exupi, that would have been perfect. But they do have a tendency to move. As I said, that should be a fixed thing, but since I let him attack me, it probably upset that order of events. So we can see here that Professor thinks he found the skull of a basilisk. Now, for those that are Harry Potter fans like myself, we know a basilisk to be a giant snake. But, and there definitely seems to be snake qualities to this, but he seems to think it's some sort of eagle-like creature. Probably different interpretations on the basilisk over the years, maybe. So, for those observant viewers, you may have noticed out in the main lobby there was a axe embedded in a totem pole, and the axe is missing from the pegboard here. Also looks like the professor is extremely disorganized because his wrenches are all in the wrong order. So it doesn't look like... Oh god. Oh god. Getting the hell out of there. So, the wood Exupi. Huh. That's weird. So he wasn't there when we walked in the room, but he's there now. Yeah. So, yeah, the wood Exupi can inhabit this little totem over here. I'm just gonna back away from that. Okay, well, let's solve the puzzle in this room, and then see if we can capture that Exupi, and we'll call this entry good. So, as we can see, there are fragments, bone fragments here, each labeled with a number. 241, 109, 342A, 490, 65B, 147. So I'm going to write those down just so I don't have to refer back to this. Actually, no, I don't, because I can use the flashback feature, I think. Let me double check that.
Care to refresh your memory?
Nope, won't let me do it in here because it's in the same room, so that would just be silly now, wouldn't it? Okay. So, give me 1 second, and I'm going to write down... First of all, we're going to save the game, because we haven't done that yet. Always a good idea. Okay, I'm going to write down these numbers, and I'll be right back with you. Okay. Got them written down. And... there we go, now I can see them. Okay, so... we are going to... there we go. Head over here, so there's this cabinet. It has numbered drawers. So let's see, we had 65B, 241, 109, 147, 490, 342A. Nothing happened. These do seem to be our fragmented skull here. Well, what to do? Well, if opening all the drawers didn't work, what if we open all the wrong drawers? So, it'd be that one, that one, that one, that one. Hold on a second. Okay, no, I'm a dumbass. I misread one of the numbers. I forgot to close that drawer. Now you can see the key is glowing. Let's give that bitch a turn. Okay, so we found looks to be one of the talisman. Bunch of sharks. It's kind of cool looking. So, but herein lies one of the difficulties in the game. We can only carry one item with us at a time. Either a lid, a vessel, or the combined talisman and lid. Or talisman and vessel. So, since we can only carry one with us at a time, let's remember that we put one, or, excuse me, I didn't say what that was, did I? We put this one here, and we'll take this one with us because it's whole. Let's hope this little bastard is out here now. Ah, good, he's back. Okay, let's go get rid of him. So you approach them and click them with the pot. They scream in horror. And we regain our health. And the little bastard's still sealed inside. So, that's how we capture Xupi. 1 down, 9 to go. Fortunately, there's no time limit, but it's tricky because this museum is just filled with puzzles, and it can be literally anywhere. So, I think I'm going to call this one here. Let me just check the time. Yep, 26 minutes. That sounds good to me. So we're going to call this one here. This is part 2 of Shivers, and of course, Shocktober. So, hope you all enjoyed, and stay tuned for part 3. Till next time, you stay classy, Internet.